Hey guys, welcome back to Paula's Imperfect Plans. Welcome if you're new. I am Paula. On my channel, I share mainly my planning journey as a wife, a mother, a farmer, and a professional in a nonprofit, and what things help me to be efficient and effective for my family of 5. So something new for me is sharing budgeting. I've been watching a lot of budgeting videos. I did kind of a breakdown, kind of a general overview of how I was doing my budgeting or my bill paying, I guess. I've really been working on tracking my spending, which is something I have been resistant to for a long time, probably because I'm aware that it's going to be not that it's going to be uncomfortable, but that it's going to require me to do the work, to do the tracking, and then determine, right? Like, what do I do with that information? What do I need to know, and what changes can I make if I need to make changes? So, so that is the current part of my journey that I am on. And I know that I have a lot of things that I need to work on. But for today, I wanted to come to you and kind of, I don't do much closing out of my budget because of how I have been budgeting, but this is, so this was our last paycheck. I get paid again tomorrow, so this is from before that, like that's from the previous paycheck. So these were all of the bills that I budgeted for. So miscellaneous is where I do not budget for or track miscellaneous expenses. I leave a certain amount after I budget our paychecks down to 0, and then we have a reimbursement from Dependent Care Flex that comes back, and that's just what we spend if we need miscellaneous expenses for the next 2 weeks, mainly just because that's how I've done it, and that was just less stressful for me. I'm aware that that's not the best way, and I'm working on that. So that's part of me doing some of the tracking to figure out, you know, what our household expense is, how much are we spending on that, what can I budget that for, what other things can I budget. So this was the last paycheck, and I don't really know, I think I kind of talked a little bit about this in a previous video, but so this is my home equity loan. I know what that is going to be. Money to the church, our cell phone bill, Netflix, Amazon, daycare, what I put on for school lunch, truck. I did 0 for that. I made a big chunk of payment already in April with our state tax refund. So I didn't put money on the truck there because I put a chunk of money on the credit card for a part that needed to be purchased to repair my Suburban. So I just put that there since I had already made a chunk of payment. Like, that's the debt that I am working on, but I'm not, I'm lenient with myself, I guess is a good way to put that. So then after my fixed expenses, I also put money in from car registration and car gas sinking fund because I had to pay both of those expenses this go around. So I put $50 away in sinking funds for vehicle registration. I didn't put anything in my Christmas or summer daycare or LP sinking funds because I needed to take some extra. I typically do Christmas with this paycheck, but I just put it towards extra car insurance because I realized there was a math error, and I will have additional money needed for car insurance that comes due in May. So then going up to groceries, that's cash envelopes, so I don't track my cash. I just take the cash and we take that to the bank, put $40 in eating out cash. We each get $60 in spending, and pull-ups and wipes that I ordered were $60.74. That $400 on the Shields card, and then my car registration and our consolidated bill for gas was where we left with that. The end of that paycheck. So then coming back to my expense tracker for this pay period, it shows all of those bills that I took out. Target for the wipes, Shields for the, so I tracked that wrong. I tracked it as debt. I need to figure out how to do this because we do use credit cards, but that would have been a vehicle expense. The sinking funds deposited back in to cover the bill and the car gas. And so then this is where all of our miscellaneous, well, except for school lunch. This was all miscellaneous spending after, not all miscellaneous, but couldn't even tell you what I got at Dollar General. I took my 3-year-old to pick out gum at Fairway. A McDonald's trip, I had to stop and get buns because we forgot about that. Beer at Casey's. My husband's car wash. Casey's, Dairy Queen, some hair products, which maybe shouldn't be miscellaneous, but needs to be personal care. My son got a different hairdo, so we needed some mousse to maintain that, an interest deposit. I was actually wrong. Our life insurance went up with no notice, so I need to deal with that. But in the meantime, that's an adjustment on that bill, so that extra was taken out. I ordered a real small order of Planner Kate stickers, Target for some laundry and dish soap, and then, Hy-Vee. So on my birthday, I went and did some appointments, and then I brought lunch back for my husband who was in the field and cupcakes for my kids that night. A Walmart return that we made. I had I ordered a bra that I was looking at Torrid, because I had a $10 off rewards thing because it was my birthday. I ordered a used Daily Duo from someone for the next 6 months. That was a PayPal expense. My in-laws sent me $50 for my birthday. And then I put that money on the credit card to cover those, those came out of something else. My mom gave me $100 for a couple things. She paid for the nails for my birthday, which I actually took money out of eating out cash to pay for. So then we got takeout night after my birthday when my husband was actually not in the field and was home. That would have been from the eating out cash, but I had taken that for my nails because I was waiting for my mom to pay me to get my nails. Anyway, it's whatever. So that kind of all works out. And then I order my moisturizer from e.l.f. and to justify paying for shipping, I usually add a lip gloss or something to it. I don't want to spend enough to get free shipping, but I also don't want to pay shipping on just one item. So that's a weird justification. But anyway, I'm working on the things like that because those are all the transactions after my bills are paid. And I want to have money set aside for that or figure out how much I need to budget for things like personal care. I'm going to change this right now because this is not a miscellaneous expense. That is a personal care product. So I'm not going to go through and do the crazy whatever of doing that math, but I'm trying to figure out how to budget more efficiently so that I don't have just that, those miscellaneous spending or just extra spending at the end to work that into my budget. But the first part of that is tracking my expenses, which I am now really actively working on. So miscellaneous is one thing, right? Like the green ones, because sometimes miscellaneous, I was gonna say I forgot one. I'm there's an extra one. Family in our community actually, and they have a special needs child, and then they have, I think, 5 children total. And the father of the family, the husband, recently got diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. And so GoFundMe was shared. And at that point in time, I had $54 left in my budget. And so I donated $50 to that family. So I try to, when things like that come to my attention that I feel like is a good cause, I really try to give to help because I don't think I'm in a great situation, but I'm also not in a terrible one. So I try to remember that regularly. So I'm not going to go through an actual closeout of that budget, mainly because I don't really know how to even do that with where I'm at. But that is where I'm at for the end of that paycheck. We get paid tomorrow on May 5th. So I'm going to set up my budget for this paycheck so that I can start fresh with this paycheck and see if I can use things going forward to be beneficial. So I know the actual amount of my paycheck right now because I have access to it on our system starting on, I think, Wednesday. This is usually the whole dollar amount of his paycheck, but the cents varies. I even went back and looked and it was so on that one is 47, that one is 46, 47, 48, 48. So I have a good guess, but I won't know the cents on that until I either see his pay stub, but he's not working today because he's farming, so I probably won't. I'll just see it on the online banking tomorrow. So this is a mileage reimbursement that I get. I've talked about that in a previous video. I drive for work and I am reimbursed a certain amount of cents per mile. This is the mileage for the month of April. I submitted it on Monday, but she had some questions on it and I was not at work on Tuesday. So things have to be submitted by Tuesday at noon to get it paid out that week. So I didn't fix the things and resubmit till Wednesday when I was back at work. So it will not go through fiscal until next week, which is fine. I'll explain what I'm going to do with that, but that's the actual amount of my mileage reimbursement. What I am going to do, because there is a positive amount here in my budget at the end of the month, so I'm going to call that a rollover, or I'm going to put that in here as a rollover amount that I'm going to roll into this budget. And then the other thing, form of income or inflow or whatever. So I have sinking funds for my car and homeowner's insurance. And so those are in sinking funds currently. And so I've done the math on that. Actually, the last payment for that is going to be today with this paycheck. But $19.42 will be the entire amount for those two bills. So that will be an inflow coming in this paycheck. So REC is our electric bill. It's usually $300, right around $300. I budget $300. I have been bad in the past of just like little things. We don't have a significant amount of credit card debt, and I don't mean to say that we do, but I have Amazon subscriptions and my credit card is linked to that. And in the past, I've been bad about really focusing on how much we're paying in subscriptions to pay those back every month, or like, just little things. I can't even think of an example, but like the other day I went and bought like reusable straws, just like things like that. It's the credit card is hooked to the Amazon, so that's just what I use, and I don't always pay attention to those little things. But I know that our electric bill is actually down. It's actually quite a bit, not quite a bit less, but a decent amount less than that this month. I'm still going to put the $300 on the credit card because there's probably some little miscellaneous things that added up there somewhere. Which those are the things I need to work on going forward, but at this point, this is how I handle it. Our daycare bill for one child, 4 days a week for 2 weeks. I pay 2 weeks in advance because we get a discount for prepaying. So when I get paid tomorrow, which is Friday, I will write that check and drop it off on Monday, and I will be paying for the weeks of the 8th and the weeks of the 15th. I gave $150 to our church. I know that that's not 10% of my income for people who do tithe. I have increased it with everything that we have paid off, and anytime we have gotten, every time we've paid off a debt, I've increased it. Like I said, it's not 10%, but I do continue to increase what I give. Life insurance. Our life insurance bill actually changed. I noted that it changed on there. One of the premiums went up, whatever. So that's a new amount for life insurance for my husband and I. Gendro is our garbage. We have a dumpster that is emptied every week. Usually that's part of, my mom pays me for half of that, so I cover the bill. It's in our name. And then she pays me. That was when she gave me money, that was to get my pedicure and for half of the garbage. And then XM radio. That was something when my husband got a new truck. I had XM radio in my Suburban because it was the only vehicle that we had that was new enough to get XM radio. I do not listen to the radio. I spend a lot of time driving in my car. And I either listen to podcasts on my phone or I sit in silence, because sometimes I need that silence in between the places that I'm going for my sanity. And so I had canceled all of our XM, and then he got his new truck, and he actually really is the one that liked it and listened to it and whatever. So he got a promotional rate. So we pay $7 a month. It's actually less than $7 a month. I round up and it goes on the credit card. So when we get down to sinking funds, this was, again, I think I talked in a previous video about car insurance and how somehow the math got messed up. This is more than I typically have been saving per month for car insurance, but this is what's left. After I, juggled some things to put an extra 177 on it last paycheck or in the sinking fund, this is what's left. The bill is due on the 19th, which is the next time we get paid. So I could, if I absolutely needed to, give myself some grace and pull it out of that check, but that check has its own expenses. So the remaining balance that I need to cover, the remaining balance plus what I already have in the sinking fund, that's what I need to cover car insurance with this paycheck. So I know that it's going to be that because I've done the math. Car gas, I did some more math, trying to just juggle some things and figure things out, because I had to pay extra there, and we have a couple graduation parties this week, and I'm adding some other categories to my budgeting. I looked at car gas, which I think I talked about this in my other video, so I don't need to cover it, but I'm not going to put any additional money from my budget into the sinking fund for car gas. I'm just going to put, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm just going to put my mileage reimbursement check. That's where that's going. Whenever it comes in, I'm going to transfer it right into the sinking fund. I did a lot of math the other day, and I think where I'm at for summer daycare, I could make it work. Once I have summer daycare kind of really figured out, I'll start putting money away for LP again. And I have the beach body, which is body now. Anyway, so I put $15 aside so that next time that comes due, I will have that amount ready. So 365 plus 401.74 plus 15 is 781.74. I didn't do the math up here. 300 plus 280 plus 150 plus 138.54 plus 83 plus 7 is 958.54. And then if I go back up, I can't do the income quite yet because I don't know his cents. So I can come back and add that later on. I have a pretty good estimate, but 280 plus, okay. So we take 280 in a cash envelope every 2 weeks for groceries. So that just gets pulled out. I take 60 in spending. My husband takes 60 in spending. I try to put money away for restaurant, eating out. So 5-star, that's the diesel bill for my husband's truck. He actually didn't spend any money filling his truck up in April. So on the May bill, it's a giant bill at our co-op. But I dug through it yesterday, and I probably need to dig through it again to be sure. There's no gas for his truck on it. It's all farm parts and, bolts, and there was an anhydrous bar shank, and just a whole bunch of the bill is quite large, but it was not any gas. So, but I might still put $100 into the car gas sinking fund on behalf of his diesel. So I got to figure out if I'm just going to combine those at some point or how I'm going to do that, because this is new in the last couple months because he was using more in diesel than the 100 that I had kind of budgeted when he didn't drive his truck very much. So I got to figure that out. So Amazon subscriptions, this month I think they're actually 75, but I'm still going to put 100 on there. I'm starting to save money for my husband's haircuts because for some reason he doesn't get haircuts super often, and when he does it like on a whim, like, hey, I'm getting my haircut tomorrow, and then he's like, oh, the expense, and it always comes at the worst time when I didn't have the $25 or whatever really extra in that miscellaneous fund. So I'm going to start setting some cash aside so that whenever he gets that haircut, I can put the cash back in the account or just send him with the cash. Either way works. And it's summer, and so I think I said summer just kind of beer money. We like garage beers and summer drinking and bonfires and things like that. So that used to be part of our grocery budget. It's not anymore. It is often where some of that miscellaneous spending and swiping the card at Casey's or at Quick Star ends up being in that 2 weeks. So I'm trying to set specific money aside, beer money. And then I forgot which things I put in there. I'm not going to do the math on that yet because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the 5-star bill yet. And then we come down here. And so I know that there's a balance on the credit card, so I'm going to put an extra $150 on that. I'm not putting money in my kids' savings, but I would like to put some in our emergency fund because it's really easy for me to be like, never mind, it's not a bill, I don't have to do it, and I need to focus more on doing it. Our car insurance bill, our house insurance bill, that's actually what they will be. I have this bill in front of me, and this one came in the mail today, but I already checked the amount online. I will pay that one online. And then we have 2 people close to us that are graduating high school, and I think those are going to be the amounts that I'm going to pay them. This is my cousin's daughter, and we just got really close after my dad died, and her mom split up with a significant other, and she babysits our kids all the time, and she works at the daycare where my kids go, and this lovely lady works at my kids' daycare and has babysat for us a couple times through that. So that's more than I typically give for, I have like a really large family. My mom is one of 9, and so I have lots of cousins, and then they all have lots of kids, so my kids have lots of second cousins, so I'm getting lots of graduation invites, and we'll go to a lot of those parties, but I try to have, and I give them a monetary gift for the people we're not as close to, and there's some of those coming up, but for the people that I have a lot closer relationships to, I try to give a different amount than what I would just give another person who so where I just got invited because I'm a cousin's kid, where I don't really have a personal relationship with them outside of that. See, I wasn't paying attention when I did these. Okay, so that is 221,104. $715, and then I'm gonna go up here. So if I just don't count the cents and I just count what I have currently in front of me, what I know for sure, 46.42 and 19 cents minus 958.54 is 36.83.65 minus 781.74 is 290,191 minus 715 is 2186.91 minus 221104. So that's negative 24.13. So I will not have money to do everything that I wanted here. Which is why I like this erasable pen. It's a friction pen. Erasable pens have come so far in where they were from when I was in middle school and had to have them. And I felt like they were so spotty with writing, you couldn't see it half the time. Might take me a minute to figure out my plan here. And this is what takes me so long with budgeting, because then I just play with the numbers for a little bit, because some of this stuff really, I do have the flexibility. Emergency fund. I could pay them less for graduation. I could cut lots of things, honestly. But I'm just trying to figure out, well, let me figure this out and get back to you here. All right, so I'm back. Here's what I did. I moved, no, I don't like where that is. I don't know what I'm going to do with the 5-star bill. Or how I'm going to do that going forward. That's going to be something for me to decide, but I'm not going to do anything with it during this pay period because everything on it was a farm expense and will get paid out of our other account. But I did put in household and personal care for 20. I don't know if that's something that we'll use at this point in time. So that change made that $635 with the leftover of $2266.91. And then so then I brought that down and I just added the 55. All right, so I have, well, I had 150 here and I added 55 or 55.87 was what my leftover was at the bottom. So I've just added that back into what I'm going to throw on the credit card. So 20.87 plus 151923 plus 421.81 is 2266.91, which budgets us down to 0, which is the goal. So that is kind of my setup for the week. For the upcoming week. And then what I do is on the back of that, I make some notes. So online payment, I know that I have to pay the $15.19 and 23 cents to car insurance online. Our cash is groceries, me, my husband, eating out, haircut, and drinks. But I think I might actually put household and personal care in cash. That's my first time budgeting for that, so we'll see. We'll see if that's how I decide to do it. Credit card is $300 for the electric bill, $7 for XM radio, and $205.87 for the extra. I did not give myself enough room there, did I? So I'll just move this guy down. 1 and 280 is groceries, and then I can do my total. What other payments do I have to make online? Gendro, but I already did that. I made that payment this morning, so I'll put a check mark there. I got a reminder to my email, and so I just figured I'd make it quick since I was on there. Those are checks. That's an auto payment. Credit card, check, sinking fund transfer, cash, credit card, transfer, checks, checks. So the amount that I will put on the credit card this with this paycheck is $512.87 on credit card. My cash is $535 in cash, so I will get that when I go to town tomorrow. And then my sinking funds is plus $365 for car insurance, and then I will need to take out $19.42 which I write them down as 2 separate transactions, so I know that I put that much in and took that much out. But when I do this transaction, because like all of my sinking funds are be plus 15 for Beachbody. And that's all I'll have right now. Whenever I get my reimbursement check, I'll have to transfer that, but I don't have it, so I'm not going to transfer it yet. So into sinking funds tomorrow, I need to take $15.62 out. I'm not transferring any in. So that's how I do it. I do the math and then I just make one transfer. But I've got the notes here of what that actually is, and when I write it in my expense tracker, I will put, $365 payment to sinking funds, and then $19.40, and then not even $19.42. I will do $15.19 and 23 cents out, and $4.21. Like, I will write them out separately in here on my transaction log, so I know what that means. But this is just so that I only have to make one transfer, like to and from a bank account. So that's out of sinking funds. That's on my credit card. These are online payments. This is in cash. And then, so those are my notes. And then, so I'll write checks for the other things. So in 2 weeks, we'll come back and I'll actually go through my transaction log. How did I do in this? And was there any miscellaneous spending? I've changed and added some categories on here just to help me understand the breakdown. I don't always feel like I need to track them, but when I'm highlighting them, I need to know, like, because it was just like bills and debts. Well, which is fine. I don't know. I've got some bills, but some of them are like utilities. Like, it's interesting to know how much I'm spending on utilities, as there's a recommended percentage that should be spent of your income or of your household costs or whatever. So I'm just like, maybe I'm getting to a point where I want to track that. But so that's how I'm going to highlight for this pay period anyway. That's my, what's this called? A key. So that is where I'm at for this paycheck. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, of watching me on this journey as I struggle through how to do some of this stuff and how to track my spending and how to really be more in charge of my money, as that's been quite a journey for me in my life, subscribe and come on back. And until next time, you guys have a great day. All right, hey guys, I am back. I went to the bank. I got the cash to put in my cash envelopes for this paycheck, and I also have some corrections and some edits to make from what we went through this morning. So I wanted to show that to you, show you how I'm going to make those changes and what that looks like in my budget. So I got cash for the expenses that I use cash for. This is an Amazon cash envelope thing that I got and use for some of this stuff. So for my, I had looked here at the notes page, which said that my cash was $535. I also made an edit to the previous video, including Amazon subscriptions. I think I noted it on that video, but that changed. And then there's also a little bit of a change in my sinking funds and my online payments. So after the last, actually the budget, I had it all set up and ready to go. And my husband called me and said that the insurance agent had just called him and they were going through like people's policy renewals and noticed that there were a lot of people with very large increases, and that ours was one of them, and that they had done some checking with Grinnell, which is our insurance company, and some other options so that we could sit down and see if there were changes that we could make to our auto policy to change that. So I'm not going to actually pay the car insurance portion. I am going to take out the $421.81 and pay for my homeowner's insurance, because that is not something we're going to look to change, but maybe the car insurance. So I'm just not going to transfer that from the sinking funds right now, nor am I going to make that payment online until we go through that a little bit more. So 40, 60, 80, 280 is our groceries. Again, that's for 2 weeks. So we spend about $140 a week. I don't track my cash, so oh my goodness. Whew. So I put this in here, and that's just our grocery money. If we have stuff left over, great. It stays into the next one, and if we don't, then we don't. So I said I was going to start setting aside $5 for haircuts fund, so that's going in there. Groceries, eating out was $60. I still have, I don't know, I think like 19 in there, something like that. So adding that to there. So my spending money is typically $60, but I was in town today when I was at, when I went to town to do the things and went to the bank, and I actually got a car wash and just used cash because I realized I didn't have my card anyway. So I just am taking that out of my spending. So I'm putting $50 in cash in here. Would be 60. Already spent 10 on a car wash. $60 for my husband. I'll put it in the envelope for dramatic effect, but honestly, he takes it and puts it in his wallet, and he will probably be home for it fairly soon. Sorry if you hear the equipment going by outside. Welcome to rural Iowa. Okay, household and personal care. I said I was going to put 20 in there. I don't know what's happening here. These, like, whatever. Okay. Chicken food. I don't have anything for that. 40, 50. And so that was for, I don't have a specific thing for drinks right now. So I'm actually going to put that in the chicken food envelope because I know what it is. And I will, there's a whole story behind the chicken food. So we have chickens on our little farm here, and we have for a while. And we recently have gotten really established with our laying hens and all of that stuff. And so we started selling eggs. We were producing more than we needed. And so I was taking the cash from the eggs, putting it in here and using it to buy chicken feed. I'm like, chicken feed is getting expensive. If we can offset the cost by selling our eggs to other people, then great. If not, whatever. So I was putting the cash in there. Well, the reality is that he still uses the farm card usually to buy the chicken feed. And so I just put the cash for the eggs somewhere else or back in our account. So anyway, so that is the cash for this. $5 for haircuts, $2.80 for groceries, 40 in eating out, no, 60 in eating out, 50 in my spending because I already spent 10 of it, 60 for my husband's spending, 20 in household and personal care, and $50 for beer money. So that is where we're at for that. And then I wanted to do that quick update on just these things. That first of all, I made an error, but otherwise I did make that credit card payment today. I pulled the cash out. I've paid the general bill. I'm not paying that right now. And so I need to transfer the new amount that I need to transfer at this point in time is $365 in for the car insurance, 15 in for Beachbody, and then $422 out. So I need to take $42 out of sinking funds at this moment. And then I'm going to check my math on that because it's not cool when I mess that up. So that's $380 minus $422 is $42 out of sinking funds. I'm not going to do that right now. And I will go make this transfer right now, and then that will be kind of the update, and the cash is in, and then this is where I'll put all my transactions until the next paycheck. So until the next payday, friends, have a good day.